Once every year, when the seasons all shift, reality thins and opens a rift. Broadcasts are received from alien places, parallel worlds, and horror-filled spaces. We gather them all for your listening pleasure, with spooks and with goofs, both in good measure. So hold on to your headphones, get ready to scream for the wonderful terror of Ahhtap Halloween. Oh, gosh, I got some Pez stuck in my throat.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ahhtap, the internet's spookiest show, where three hosts watch funny, spooky videos and talk about them. Ooh, ah, ah, ee. I am your first ghost, Thatcher, Gulen, Whedon.
And I am the host that lives under your stairs. What's the rest of the lyric from... I'm trying to remember.
I am the host with a tearaway face. Here in a flash and in outer space.
You went to outer space?
I did.
Wow.
It's not as cold as people say it was. The surprising thing, people can't hear me scream. Ah!
Well, I just did.
I didn't hear anything.
We haven't even named ourselves. I just thought about that.
No. Yeah, I named myself Ian. Which I mean, Frick. Mystery second host.
Yeah, it's me, other mystery second host, Ian. Well, it's not a mystery now.
We know who it is. The big reveal this season long. This is what the ARG has been building up to.
It was me all along.
And I'm the mystery third host, Isaac
Whoa.
Diatre, and I want to suck your blood, because I'm a vampire.
Blah. Yes, welcome to Ahhtap. I already talked about what this is, so let's get right into what we watched, boys. If you're just tuning in, first of all, why did you click on episode 3.4 instead of 3.1 or 3.2 or 3.3? But if you're just tuning in, we've been watching a lot of the 1990-something Goosebumps TV show, the finest Canadian horror this side of the millennia. That's probably a lie. I'm sure there's some cult classic Canadian horror film. But today we watched...
Ghost Beach.
Ghost Beach.
It was pretty good.
Ghost Beach. I took too many notes on Ghost Beach.
Wait, you guys are taking notes?
I write notes on things because it helps me remember stuff.
I don't so much write notes as just find things that I thought were funny or interesting, and then I write them down on like a random note document.
So, notes.
Sure, I guess. If you want to think about it that way.
I do. I will think about it that way.
Being all smart.
I was pleasantly surprised by this one.
I don't know. It was Ghost Beach, man.
So I will say I wasn't bored, which is good, but it wasn't like offensive either. It wasn't haunted dog, you know?
It wasn't haunted. It wasn't barking
ghost.
Haunted dog.
But it did have some haunted dogs.
It did.
Haunted.
It did. What is it with ghosts and dogs?
They're both connected. It's a part of the Steiniverse.
It's all connected. Steiniverse.
And, I mean, now every time I hear a dog barking, I'm going to think that there's a ghost, because they would have clearly no other reason for barking.
Yeah.
Okay.
No other reason for them to be barking. That's why the kid was scared in that episode of the dogs.
So true. He watched Ghost Beach.
True believers, for context on what we're talking about, listen to Ahhtap episode 3.2, The Barking Ghost.
We got really mad by the end of it.
Sorry, I had to do the little Marvel Comics explanation there. So, as you were saying before I so rudely subtitled.
He's talking about you.
Me?
Think so.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about Ian.
No, I was talking about you.
No, I was just saying that kid must have seen Ghost Beach, and that's why he was scared, like Ian was saying.
There we go. So yes, we watched Ghost Beach, and let's get right into the synopsis. So the episode opens with kids running around a cemetery at a beach.
As you do.
A ghost beach!
Anyone else run around cemeteries at beaches?
Nope.
Also, why would you have a cemetery by a beach?
Yeah, that's kind of the worst place.
They would wash away all the time. You would never see them again.
Well, we weren't sure if we wanted a burial at sea or to be buried at land, so we just kind of settled for the next best thing.
So we compromised. Land for a few years until it degrades away into the sea.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't have the budget to bury your loved one at sea, so we could only do the next best thing. We just did it like 10 feet away from the sea. We hope you're okay with that.
Wait, you need a higher budget to bury at sea?
We were just going to throw him on the beach, but the Coast Guard showed up and said that was a gross violation of everything, so we just went to the beach shop and bought some sandcastle equipment and just buried him in the sand. So 2 kids.
Yeah.
Whose names are Jerry and Terry.
Which is hilarious.
They're supposed to be twins, right?
I don't know. They're Goosebumps siblings. I think they're siblings. They may be cousins.
I'm pretty sure.
Fourth cousins twice removed.
Pretty sure they're siblings because they talked about their dad.
Okay.
And at the beginning of the episode, they're talking while the sister is vandalizing a tombstone.
She's doing a wax rubbing.
Yeah, it's not vandalizing.
I didn't know that for the first 5 seconds. I was like, whoa, what the heck? Why is she scribbling on this tombstone?
Screw dead people. The moral of the story of Ghost Beach is don't vandalize tombstones. Nah, she's doing a wax rubbing of the tombstone, and she's got her wax paper on there, which I'm not sure. I kind of paused at that because I'm not sure if that's cool or not.
I mean, I think that's kind of cool. Like, who's gonna mind the person who died?
I mean, like, if you go to the cemetery and you see someone doing a wax rubbing of your Mima's tombstone, what do you do?
I mean, I think I would just be like, hey, can you make another one for me?
Okay. Then I guess it's past the Ian Betancourt Coolcheck.
That's what that was?
It's got the Ian Betancourt Cool seal of approval.
Yes, because I'm the cool one.
He's the coolest one who makes all of the rules. So wax rubbings, Jerry says, who likes wax rubbings? And Terry says, I do, because I'm interested in things. Firmly cementing Terry as the brainy one of the group.
And Jerry as the not brainy one of the group.
Yes.
Also, Terry says that she loves that everything there is old, which is like, I don't know how to interpret that.
Yeah, I wrote that down too. Yeah, I don't know why, but Terry gives big horse girl energy.
But if you showed her like a normal horse and like a ghost skeleton horse, she'd probably choose the skeleton horse.
She gives horse girl energy, but she doesn't know what a horse is.
She has yet to become a horse girl. It's like in her DNA.
Pre-horse girl.
So I guess she gives off girl energy, which is not what I mean.
Wait, so every horse girl is a girl, but not every girl is a horse girl, right?
Yeah. Prepping for the SATs here. So as they're looking at the tombstone, something appears from behind them.
And it rises up.
And then it goes oogity boogity.
And they all run away.
Jerry trips, and he's like, oh no!
In classic fashion, this is why you should not look behind yourself while you're running away from something.
Yep. And the ghillie suit is removed, revealing a girl.
Was it the girl or the guy in the ghillie suit? I thought it was the guy.
It was the girl.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
The girl with red hair. And then her brother appears. The brother with red hair. And it's revealed that they're also Sadlers, because everybody in this episode is a Sadler. Spoiler alert.
That's true. I didn't realize that. Literally
Technically,
everyone.
everyone in this episode is related.
But what about the dogs?
Even the tombstone that they were scrawling on earlier had the Sadler name on it.
Harrison Sadler.
There's so many Sadlers that they even say there's a lot of Sadlers around here.
There's lots of Sadlers around here.
So the redheaded Sadlers are interviewing the original Sadlers about why they're here at Ghost Beach.
Then I think at that point they're just like, oh, it's because we're staying with our grandparents over here. And isn't it like
I think it's their cousins. Something like twice removed.
I think it's their fourth cousins twice remodeled.
Yeah.
Brad and Agatha, our fourth cousins, twice remodeled.
Removed, Jerry. Twice
Classic
removed.
Jerry.
Classic Jerry. There are two types of people, Jerry's and Terry's. Which one are you?
You got Jerry Seinfeld and you got
Terry Seinfeld. Okay, anybody else want to make a Jerry Terry reference? Actually, hold on a second. Boys are back in town. If you know, you know. Jerry Terry's great. Okay, any other Jerry Terry references we need to get out of the way?
Nope.
Viewer be wary, you're in for a scary.
Or maybe just a Terry and Jerry.
There we go. I'll also throw in Terry with an I and Terry with a Y from Monsters University. Okay, any more Jerry Terry jokes?
Stop dissing Terry, bro. That's not nice.
And get with this and Jerry. I don't know what that means.
Because they got dysentery, get it?
There we go. I get it. Kids, dysentery is not a joke. If you or a loved one has dysentery...
If you or a loved one has drunken random water from a lake...
If you or a loved one has the poops... Speaking of the runs, the redheaded Sadlers drop some spooky knowledge and then have to leave. And then they have to run.
Getting the runs is like spooky knowledge, you know?
I was getting to there. They drop the knowledge and then they have to run.
Sorry. It was a great segue. Yeah.
They talk about ghosts. Ghosts in a cave. The redheaded girl says, "That's enough, Sam." And then they leave. And then they go to the cousin's house where they're eating slop.
And Jerry gets an extra portion that he doesn't want.
Yummy slop.
Jerry references the two kids that they ran into and how they're also Sadlers. And also they mentioned ghosts.
And then the grandparents look more dead than they already did. Just like, oh.
They use the same shots every time for those two grandparents, I swear. Because this happens several times during the episodes where Jerry and Terry will say something, and it's the same music sting, and it's just close up on the grandparents as they just kind of look at each other like, dogs? They said dogs? Oh no!
What are dogs? I've never heard of such a thing.
And then the guy gets up and is like, I have to go read something.
Yes.
And his wife is like, I'll come help.
I heard that too. I was like, what?
So good.
We need bedtime story, Mom.
Can you guys help me read, please?
All right, Harold.
And they were in the middle of eating, and they just get up and leave to go read.
To go read, and she helps.
Oh my goodness, I gotta go read something. Could you help me? Oh goodness.
Oy, sheesh. But they start feeling sussy about it, and then the next scene is them on the beach, and she's collecting seaweed to eat?
Yep.
Unprompted, she said, "I love seaweed. Some seaweed you can actually eat. It's full of iodine. I want a book on all the different types of seaweed." I feel like I'm playing a frickin' edutainment game. Like, I feel like I'm playing a Magic School Bus. Like, I went to the computer lab and I'm like, I'm going to play the Magic School Bus.
Or like you walk past an NPC in Skyrim and they just start talking to you about their day.
Yes. Hello, Dragon Boy. I love seaweed. Did you know that some seaweed you can actually eat? It's full of iodine. You have committed great crimes against Skyrim, but I love seaweed.
And they also portray Terry as like more nerdy than any kid should ever be, just ever. Just like, oh, I'm interested in old things.
And seaweed.
I'm not like other horse girls.
I don't like living horses.
I like dead horses.
For dead ones, and ones in books.
And also Jerry is portrayed very much as quite the opposite.
Oh, dude's wearing a frickin' tank top. Yeah, man. He's got the frickin'...
Walks by saying, "Don't you want to go look at the cave?" She doesn't answer. Walks past her. "Fine, I'll look at it myself." Trips over a stick.
No, not a stick, my dude. He trips over a dog skeleton.
No, because he lands, like, whatever he sees when he lands, he screams at. So I assumed that he tripped in front of the dog skeleton.
Oh, okay.
And then he screams and he's like, ah!
Bones!
And which one of them thought it was a raccoon skeleton?
The brother.
It was so clearly a dog profile. But then the two, Sam and Louisa, show up and are like, no, that's too small for a raccoon.
This begs the question. What does a raccoon skeleton look like?
Also, how big do raccoons get?
surprisingly like a dog.
Even if he said a cat, even then I would have been like, oh, I could see how you make that mistake, but it doesn't even look like a raccoon.
I'm going to drop this into the chat. Never mind, I'm going to have to download a picture of a raccoon skeleton to my computer.
FBI agent who's living in Thatcher's computer, don't worry. It's not anything too bad.
Oh, come on. I just want to...
Just raccoons. He's just killing raccoons.
Save image as... I don't... What the heck is an AVIF file?
An avif.
Avif.
Do I look like I know what a JPEG is? I just want a picture of a gosh dang raccoon skeleton.
You gotta want it more.
Save image as there. No, it's
All villains in fairyland.
just
avif.
look up raccoon skeleton.
Will do. Okay, maybe you could make that mistake, but it's like the back is like really arched.
Fair enough.
The back is like way more arched than in a dog.
I'm just confused. Like, are there a lot of raccoons on the island? Is that why he goes there? Because we don't see any raccoons, and they're on the beach. So I'm just like, are raccoons the first animal that he thinks of?
They could budget for a raccoon to die at sea, but they couldn't budget to.
Anyways, the two other Sadlers show up, say that it's a dog, and then they start mentioning why they know it's a dog, because ghosts eat dogs, because dogs can find ghosts.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. Ghosts eat dogs.
And that's why they bark. No other reason. Simply ghosts. If a dog is barking, ghosts. Not squirrel.
They only bark at ghosts.
Not other dogs.
Unless they're ghost dogs.
Unless they're ghost dogs. Yeah, what about then, huh? What about then, R.L. Stein?
The ghost dogs bark at the real people.
What?
So do real people bark at the
minute.
ghost dogs then?
Yes.
Is that the logic they're trying to go for?
Wait a minute. I'm so confused.
It's a war between ghost and dog kind.
What? Okay.
I want to write a book about this. This is
About
interesting.
ghost dogs?
About the war between dogs and ghost humans.
Okay, so they're talking about the ghosts that eat dogs but not eat the bones because them's is icky. Then the twins, not the twins, the others, frickin' Sam and Louisa point at the mountain and they're like, you see that hole there? There's a ghost in that hole. He's lived there for what some say is more than 300 years.
And sometimes the cave lights up and they're like, have you ever seen the ghost? We're like, no, but the cave lights up. And, you know, we've seen evidence of
Which means
ghosts,
it's a ghost.
So it's a ghost.
Oh my goodness, which leads to one of my favorite parts where they go back to their cousin's house. And,
Wait, they don't quite get there yet. So they make it like partway to the cave, and then Jerry sees the light, and then Sam's like, did you see the light? And he's like, I don't know what I saw. And then...
But it was a light.
Then Sam and Louisa are like, come on, let's go. They're non-believers.
I told you they were non-believers.
That's right. I told you they were unworthy.
Louisa, I told you they were non-believers.
That entire scene, by the way, has like the most daunting, like intense music. It's just like or something like that, and it's like really loud. And the whole scene, I'm just like what? Is something about to happen? Like, what's happening right now?
The mixing on the episode was not the best. I'm going to say this. I'm the one who edits all the podcasts, which means I'm entitled to my rant about audio engineering. I know Ahhtap ain't the best in terms of editing. I'm fine with that. I'm growing. I'm learning how to use things like limiters and whatnot. The mixing on this was so bad. Auto ducking. Just turn the music down or the sound effects down just a little bit. I can't hear the thing they're saying. Raccoon skeletons. Hey, also find the treasure in the trash. Sorry.
They're like, I told you they were non-believers, and then the cousins walk off, and then it cuts to the scene.
Well, maybe not cousins.
Well, maybe not cousins.
We don't know if they're closely related.
They could be twice remodeled for all we know.
They could be 5 times remodeled.
They couldn't get the house right every time. They had to remodel it 5 times.
They had the Property Brothers come in and they said, sorry, we can't fix these cousins. They neither loved it nor listed it.
So then they go back to their cousins that they're staying with.
Wait, are the old people supposed to be like, in some weird way, their cousins? Or I thought they were grandparents.
Yeah.
What? What?
Yes, they're their cousins.
But
they're their cousins. Fourth cousins twice removed.
But they're so old.
People can. That's why they're their fourth cousins.
I know.
That's how cousins work, Ian. I'm passionate about two things this episode. I'm passionate about audio engineering and how cousins work.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
They're twice remodeled. You're right.
We're going on a learning adventure, Ian.
That's why they look so old.
There we go. Yeah, actually, that's what a hip surgery is. It's remodeling.
There are cousins, but they've had 2 hip replacements each.
Okay, so they finally go back to their old cousins, the grand cousins, after getting called unbelievers, and they sit down to beef stew.
Once again, like, oh, I don't know if I can eat all this. And then the older cousin's like...
No, it's the opposite.
Wait, what?
Yeah, they liked the beef
She
stew.
gives him very little food, and he's like, I can eat more than that. And she's like, well, I just don't know how to feed you.
Oh.
Hit me up with some more beef stew, dog.
Then they start explaining the whole cave thing and like what Jerry saw with like the light. And then they give the exact same look they did previously in the episode.
Oh, and then the grandpa. And then the grandpa pulls the scanner, and he says, Aurora Borealis?
At this time of day. At this time of
Aurora
year.
Borealis, at this time of the year, in this part of the country.
Localized entirely within that cave. Yes.
Localized entirely within your ghost beach.
Can I see it? Oh, no.
No. Well, Seymour, I must admit, you're quite the odd fellow, but you certainly do steam a good
said
dog.
Aurora Borealis in the episode, I was just like, oh, he did the thing. He did the thing. He did the Simpsons thing.
He did the thing. Isaac, do you know steamed hams?
No.
We have to show him Steve Dance after this.
Okay.
Ah!
We have to show we're gonna do it. We're gonna do a short. We're gonna do an Isaac.
The one video on our
reacts to
YouTube channel is
steamed hams.
Isaac reacts to steamed ham.
I've posted some videos on the YouTube channel and some secret videos on the YouTube channel. See if you can find them.
Secret videos.
Yes. Okay, Aurora Borealis. Cousins warn them to stay clear of the beach's cave and say no coming home with broken bones. And then it's nighttime, and the girl is trying to sleep, but is awoken by dogs that go scrunching through the leaves.
Oh, she's afraid of dogs.
Freaking the guy from Barking Ghost comes in, and he's like, see?
And then when she goes to close the window, a hand appears on her shoulder.
It's a ghost.
It's her brother.
But her brother is a ghost.
Ooh.
Easy. We don't know.
But he hits her with the, hey, you want to go to the cave?
She's like, at this time of night?
In this part of the country?
Localized entirely within this beach.
No, I don't want to. I want to sleep. And then he's like, where's your sense of adventure? And she's like, I don't know. Where's your sense of night and day?
I missed that. That's good. Also, a neat little detail. She has the tombstone rubbing near her bed.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
That's cool.
Yeah, nice little attention to detail there. And more attention to detail is no more dog.
because they hear like a whoo, and then it's like assumed the dog is
They
dead.
hear a wow!
Also, I don't know if this is after this scene or during this scene, but at one point she's like, I'm kind of scared, and then Jerry's like, me too, that's why it's fun. And it's like, what
Yep,
is
it
your
was that
logic
scene.
there, my dude?
And then it cuts to the beach.
Yep, then they're on the beach. Or I guess they're at the cave.
Yeah.
Yep, and then they're in the cave.
And then they're walking in the cave.
And there's no Aurora in the cave.
And they see the light, and they try to follow the light.
Don't go towards the light.
They go towards the light. They do it.
Man, this really is a spooky episode.
And they find a bunch of bats.
Oh! Then Terry decides that he'll become Batman.
Da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da.
And the episode takes a very drastic shift. He moves to Gotham.
So then they keep going deeper into the cave after the bat jump scare. Terry says, I don't think we should be here. And then a spooky man appears. But for the life of me, the mixing in this episode, I could not understand what the spooky man was saying. I listened to that line again and again. No idea what he was saying. Drowned out by music stings.
I want to try to listen to it, actually. I don't know what you're referencing.
One video clip later.
So Terry, she's like, I don't think we should be here. And then old guy, he's like, you're right, you shouldn't. And then after a couple seconds, again, he says, you're right, you shouldn't. And then it goes to ad break. I don't know why he says it twice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Yeah, so he confronts them and is like, what are you doing here? Are you going to trap me here? And they're like, no, what? And And they kind of go back and forth trying to convince him that they're not here to do anything bad and that they're not ghosts. And he's saying that he's not a ghost. And then says his name is Harrison Sadler, which was the name on the gravestone. And they're like, oh, but he came here 300 years ago. And he's like, no, that was my ancestor.
That's my ancestor. I also came here from England.
But he's wearing clothing. His clothes are not modern-ish like the kids' clothes. They do look much older.
They did look kind of old. You're right.
But then he reaches behind them and they freak out and he grabs the torch and is like, I'm going to tell you a story.
A ghost story.
And he tells them the story of how all of the explorers came here and had a really bad winter and a bunch of them died. But it was so bad that they didn't want to go to their graves, so they still haunt the island, the beach.
Which I gotta say, that's kind of a cool ghost motivation. Also, I do want to point something out that they were very hungry as well. They died of hunger and being frozen, which my brain was like, oh, that's why they're eating the dogs. As he's telling the ghost story, he also ends, I mean, they keep calling him a ghost, but he finally is like, okay, stop it. I'm not the ghost. Those, the ginger Sadlers, they're the ghosts, and they're evil. They're evil ghosts. This is my sanctuary in which I hide from ghosts.
And never leave.
And never leave.
And so then they're going back and forth. They're like, well, are they the ghosts? Is he the ghost? Hard to say. And he's like, go to the northeastern side of the graveyard and you'll see now.
Right before that, he says, I'm going to let you guys go because you won't listen to me. It's like, y'all
If
stop.
you listen to me, then I wouldn't let you go.
Immediately afterwards, Terry says,
I think he's gonna eat us. Or something like that.
this feels so much like an RPG encounter. Like, the PCs, the player characters have no idea what's going on. You're like trying to tell them, this is what you need to do. And they're like, I think he's a ghost. I think he's going to kill us, guys.
I think he's gonna eat us. No, I got that vibe too, especially when he like shows up and is like, let me tell you a story.
Yes, exposition and that sort of thing. And it's like, okay, here's a fetch quest, go here. So they go to the graveyard.
And they find 2 gravestones. One for Sam, one for Louisa. But I will remind you, they have also already found one for Harrison.
Yeah. Your logic is flawed, Harry.
And then, while they're there, who would show up but the 2 kids who just magically show up everywhere? And they get all the information from Terry and Jerry about what they've witnessed this night and the ghost and what the ghost told them. And they're like, smart ghost trying to tell you that we're the ghosts.
Wink,
but
wink,
we're not.
nudge, nudge.
And we have this thing that will prove to you that we're not the ghosts. Follow us. This is what we wanted to show you and why we're out here in the middle of the night and why we knew that you were going to be out here in the middle of the night. Here's your gravestones. The ghost wants to put you in them.
Complete with your middle school yearbook photos. Ooh!
And then they're like, you must go back to the cave and knock all the rocks off to seal in the ghost. And they're like, don't ghosts just go through things? Like, how's that going to stop them? And they're like, no, it's a sanctuary. It seals in evil.
Legend says, I think they literally say that. They're like, the legend says. And it's like, what legend? What are you talking about?
The legend, obviously.
The legend, the legend
of Zelda.
The Legend of Zelda. There we go. So they get to there. They're like, okay, well, I don't want to push this in. You guys have to come help me. And Sam says, I can't, Jerry.
I can't. I'm scared.
I'm scared.
I can't, Jerry. I'm scared.
I don't know. I loved that delivery.
Oh, before that, there's also they're like, well, why haven't you guys done it if you knew that there was a ghost there? And they're like, well, we live on this island, and so if we failed to trap the ghost, then the ghost would haunt us and our family's house forever.
So we're gonna get these Ponzi's from the city.
City boy.
City ghost. So they get in position, and then
lightning strikes,
and Harry appears, and he whistles for his dog, and his dog comes, and it's everybody pointing fingers at each other, calling everybody else the ghost.
But then the dog goes up to the two gingers, and he's like...
And Terry and Jerry are like, you told us that dogs bark at ghosts. You must be the ghosts.
They're like, nah, we ain't the ghosts. And Harry's like, uh-huh. And they're like, no.
But they keep backing up from the dog until they make it into the mouth of the cave. And then they start revealing that they are the ghosts, and they're like, okay, fine, but we just wanted to have a life because we didn't get to have a life because we died from the cold and we were hungry, and their faces start to look more skeletal.
Yeah, and their master plan was to kill the kids and bury them and make them ghosts too.
And it's like, how does that fix your problem of never living?
More ghosts.
More ghosts! Ghost party!
Yay, ghosts! Too many ghosts.
Yeah, they wanted friends.
Yeah.
They wanted to hang out with their ghoul friends. Oh!
They should have just found the changing tree. It would have been way simpler.
There we go. I want the crossover. Okay, Terry does have a one-liner after the lightning strikes and closes the cave and seals all the ghosts up inside. And she says, Jerry, next time you find me sleeping, don't wake me up.
And then they're retelling things to their grand cousins.
They're gruzzins.
They're cousins. And they don't seem as like, oh, don't talk about that. And are just totally fine with it and listening like, wow, that's a lot.
We were scared that you guys ran away, but I guess we're fine that you're alive. Quite the fright. Best to forget all of it.
Yep. And then there's a dog barking.
The same dog that backed the ghost kids into the cave before it was sealed.
Spooky Man's dog.
And Jerry opens the door.
The dog comes in the door.
And it barks and points at their grand cousins. Surprise!
The cousins say, bad dog, giving away our little secret like that.
And then the kids are like,
And then they openly discuss how best to eat the dog.
And then they try and get Terry and Jerry to set up the table so that they can eat the dog, because, you know, aren't you hungry?
Implying that they're ghosts, or just people who like eating dogs they find on the beach.
Dun dun dun.
And that's Ghost Beach.
I thought it was implying that they were going to eat the cousins.
Oh,
Maybe.
maybe. And that's Ghost Beach.
Dun dun dun.
Now, Isaac, you said that you were pleasantly surprised by Ghost Beach.
Yeah, I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
That's good.
It reminded me of the last one we did, the Shocker on Shock Street, with
Yeah.
the way that it ended. The, like, questioning things, who's the real ghost,
Yeah.
and then kind of that back and forth.
I'm the ghost. You're the ghost.
We're all the ghost.
Wait a minute. If you're the ghost, and you're the ghost,
Who's driving the bus?
Ghost Bus. The third R.L. Stein's Ghost trilogy.
The magic ghost bus.
Okay. Ghost Beach. Isaac was pleasantly surprised. I think I was pleasantly surprised. I would say this was a good all-rounder. There were some funny moments. I wouldn't even say it was particularly bad. It was a solid episode.
Yeah. I think I might have said something along a similar caliber near the beginning of our recording, but I was not offended by this episode, and
There was no racism or misogyny.
Yeah, I thought it was actually a solid episode. And there was just enough of the funny for me to not be bored, because that was something I was scared about, because just because an episode isn't, like, obnoxiously bad doesn't mean that it's necessarily fun either.
No. Yeah, this was a solid one. Okay, I would rate it a rock you find on the beach out of 10. It's not bad. It's solid. There's some fun parts, good memories. It's fine. I don't know, I feel like there's not much to say about Ghost Beach for me.
Mm-hmm. I'd say Jerry could wake me up for it once.
Nice, but not twice.
Not twice.
I think I would rate it 8 raccoon skeletons eating Ben and Jerry's out of 10.
Are they all eating from the same Ben and Jerry's, or are there 8 different Ben and Jerry's?
Why are you asking? Are you a cop?
No.
One big Ben and the Jerry's. I don't know if we mentioned this. I sent them all a picture of a raccoon skeleton eating Ben and Jerry's earlier in the episode when we were trying to find raccoon skeletons. So that's where that came from.
We didn't find any buried in the sand in a beach.
Nope. Boys, real quick, we need to figure out how this squares up against all y'all. We need to make... I've been working on a tier list. A Goosebump tier list.
One ranking later.
Either in my brain, the other ones are either like equally good or just better. You know?
Yeah, I'm fine with putting it there. So it will go Kitchen Sink, Shocker on Shock Street, Say Cheese and Die, Ghost Beach, then Haunted Dog.
I do
Barking
like
Ghost.
that.
Okay. It has been spoken. And I think thus concludes all of our Goosebumpery for the year, which makes me kind of sad.
Goosebumpery.
The geese have stopped bumping.
Because the next thing we're going to cover in our thrilling secret finale is going to be secret and different.
Dun dun dun.
Secret. We've got a secret.
So secret? Well, we don't even know what we're going to do.
Yep. Thank you, everybody, for listening to another episode of Ahhtap. As always, make sure to follow us / subscribe to wherever you listen to this, and leave a nice review, and share it with your friends, because if you share it with your friends, then the fun never ends, as the old adage goes.
You can find us on our Twitter, @OTAP_podcast, and our YouTube, which is also @OTAP_podcast.
You want to send us an email? Send it to othatpod@gmail.com, and we'll try to get back to you in a reasonable time.
And we also have a Redbubble. We don't have a Patreon at the moment, so if you want to support us, that is a good way too, in addition to telling your friends about us. And our Redbubble is OTAP-store.
Or you can always try bird mail. Just attaching a $5 bill to the crows, and it'll get to me eventually. It may take a little bit, but
only the crows.
Only the crows.
And
only
make
the
sure
crows.
that you know the difference between crows and ravens first.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Nevermore.
Make it real touchy about that.
Ravens go to our rivals.
Mm-hmm. Which one is the one that's found in the wild? Ravens?
What do you mean?
I thought that was the difference between crows and ravens. The big difference is that one is found in the forest and one is found in towns.
Oh, I thought the big difference was that one is bigger.
I guess that would be a big difference. Anyways,
and by one I mean ravens.
I just had a cool corvid fact. Did you know that corvids, either crows or ravens, have pet wolves? They find wolf pups and they're like, this is my homie, and they're friends for life. And it is one of my favorite facts. Yep. Great fact there.
That is kind of metal, actually, in a weird way to me.
I feel like it's a lost Disney movie, but maybe it's a very metal Disney movie.
Maybe that...
Brave 2 put a Viking flair on it.
Brave 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay.
I did it.
You did it.
All right, do we want to do this joke now?
Yes, hit me, Ian.
Well, I wouldn't do that. You're my friend.
That's exactly why you should.
What?
What?
Isaac, what?
You what? Why don't mummies gossip?
I don't know. Why?
They don't want to get a bad rap.
I thought it would have something in rap. That's pretty good.
That's clever. I like that. Well, thank you all for listening to That's a Podcast. As always, believe, eat leaf, and achieve this year. And spook up your podcast.
Ooh, bye-bye now.
Ooh, bye. Bye now.
Just a light.
You ever hear of aurora borealis, Jeremy?
Yeah?